Thank you everyone for joining us today here at Levittown Public Library's Postural Alignment class with Kimberly. Today is Happy Halloween, October 31st, approximately 11 a.m. Go ahead, Kim.
Thank you very much, Tomi. It's wonderful to be with you again. Hi, everybody. Happy Halloween, all that good stuff. If anybody has any things they want to see today, this is the last time for this round of sessions. You have to sign up again, so make sure you get on there, because last time there was a big waiting list and not everybody can get on. So get onto that Levittown Library website and sign up. You do not have to be a resident. You can sign up. We have Zoom and we have in-person. In-person's the best. You got to get there. So just a reminder. All right. So if you guys got anything that you want to tell me, anything you want to do, let me know. You can type it in and I can see the chat from here. So if you wanted to do that, we can do that. Otherwise, everybody in my audience, my live audience, you guys got anything you want to do today? Everybody's laying down a static back. They're just doing it. You want to do static back, I guess. Denise is like, yeah, whatever. Rest of you guys are like, static back. Okay. Okay. Denise, is there any move that you like to start out with as opposed to static back? Is there anything that also is helpful for you?
I always start out in the morning.
You do? Okay. Did you do it this morning?
Yes.
Okay. So you did it already, so no static back for you. No. Okay, all right. 5 minutes, everybody, static back. I will demonstrate to any newbies who might be watching this, but at this point, if you're a newbie and you're watching this, you better sign up for the classes that are upcoming, because you never know when I'm not good. Good morning. Good to see you again, Denise. When you're never going to see me again, ever, ever, ever. I might get that job in Alaska and go be a boat captain on deal with fish crew and crud like that. You never know. I am a crazy girl like that. Static back. You're laying on your back. Legs are up, trying to get that 90-degree angle. You guys know if your head does not like or still doesn't like to face straight up to the ceiling, and you can't effort to do this, no effort. If you're actually looking behind you, then I'd recommend putting a little pillow underneath so that you can get your face parallel to the ceiling. This is in the very least a 5-minute long move, because that's how long it takes for the body to start seeing some sort of, or getting a response out of the move. While you're laying here in the 5 minutes, nice idea back there, Denise. I like it. She's got her glasses on, because staring up at these lights when you're directly underneath them, those LEDs right in your corneas, ah. So some people put a bandana over their face, but she's got glasses, smart woman. So I'm going to just go through the tower, which I told you I'd do like weeks ago, and I never brought it in. And I don't have a website and a blog anymore, so you guys can't really access that anymore. So the tower looks crazy. It's just a wooden device. And when I could not afford this stupid thing, I hung my leg off of a doorknob. You'll get the idea how you can get creative with this. Denise, can you see? Okay, there you go. There's two Denises. Sorry if I get you guys all confused. So this thing, all it does is it traps your leg while you lay there in the position that you guys are laying there. There's many different ways you can use it, but the main way to use it is to gradually, every 5 minutes, take your hip from flexion all the way into extension while you lay there and relax. The point of this move is to engage, not engage, wrong word, is to address the iliopsoas, which is the muscle that starts right in here on the inner thigh, the crotch, goes up through your pelvis, attaches through your pelvis, and into your lower back. It actually originates here in the lower lumbar. That's where it starts, and it goes right through. It should be responsible for hip flexion, bringing the leg to here. But for most of us, it's either tight, weak, shut down, compensating. So a lot of that work gets done by our secondary hip flexor or even through the quad. So there's a lot of different things going on in everybody's posture, but this has been called the silver bullet for this type of posture therapy. because everybody should be doing it, including me. I'm going to stop for a while, but everybody should be doing it at least once a week. Takes an hour to go through, and you guys have no problem laying in static back for an hour. Then you'd have no problem laying in supine groin progressive for an hour. Let me demonstrate how it works.
What is that called?
The tower. It's $100 when I bought it. It's going to be, it's made out of excellent wood. My dad's a woodworker, and he's looking at it, he's like, wow, that's birch. This is good. It's a good wood. And it's 7-ply. It's excellent. But who the hell wants to drop $100 on something like this when you can hang your leg off of a stupid doorknob? So you can do that. So I'll show you how to use it, and then you'll start getting creative and get, hey, maybe I can do this. There's one girl, I don't know if you know, if you've looked online for all of this E-word stuff, Marianne Berry. You might have come across her videos. She shows you a different way of doing this. She's my friend from California. So here's what you do. You always use a sneaker with this, because what we want to do is trap the foot. And if you put your foot into a sneaker, we've got about 1.5 minutes in static back for you guys left. That'll be plenty of time. So if you put your foot into a sneaker, it will trap the foot the way we want. So we want to address the hip. So we got to trap everything in order for this to go to the hip. And this is how the move works. You start on the top level. Here I am. This is it. So, right? Isn't it nice? So the hip is in flexion here. Some people who are really, really hardcore and really tight, you might go through 2 hours of this. I've done 2-hour sessions. It's excellent. The San Francisco 49ers each have a tower because they do all this posture work too. Every 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you lower the leg. So we're progressively taking the leg, the hip, from flexion into extension. So every 5 minutes. So you could see how you could just rest your leg on something like a bunch of paper towels if you could get it that high. It's about 24, 26 inches. That's it. Like I said, I hung my leg off of a doorknob. You can do that. Figure it out. Just hang your leg off the doorknob, let it hang, put the other leg up, and we make it all the way down to the floor. Floor's the last one. Good. You mean both legs?
Yeah.
That's a different exercise. I didn't bring the double for a reason, because I want to show you the silver bullet. That's this one. This is supine groin stretch. Each psoas has to be separated in order for this one to work. There is a double leg one. When you do 2 legs at one time, which is another attachment, it actually creates more lumbar extension and activation. So it's a totally different exercise. Doing 1 leg at a time is going to promote addressing that psoas and getting it either from tight or even weak. It'll start to kick it on and balance it out. So that's what it is. And then you do the same thing on the other side. That's the tower. It is pretty cool, and it's awesome. Great, everybody. I want you guys to do static back knee pillow squeezes, because I have a little bit more to say. So grab your block, put it in between your knees, and go ahead and squeeze that sucker for a good 2 minutes. Oh, sorry, madame.
Do I need
No, just if you do, I'll walk it over to you. So we're laying on the back, and we're doing static back knee pillow squeezes. Squeezing the block over and over.
Thanks, Kim.
You're very welcome.
You need straps?
Not sure. I'm still like going a mile a minute in my head. So if you do need them, I have no problem walking them out to you. So we're still in static back. You're putting a pillow or a block in between your knees, and you're just going to squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. 50% of your effort at most. So what I wanted to keep talking about was with that tower, I do suggest doing that once a week. When I was doing it once a week, big changes in my body, and it maintained a good amount. That thing is holding a lamp in my room right now. So so I just avoided doing it, and now it's become part of my furniture.
You hang yourself on it.
I do. It's holding a lamp. I live in a really, strange situation, but yeah, that's what I put my lamp on top of. So like I was telling Denise before, in order to get some effective postural changes, that tower needs to be done 1 leg at a time. When you find that balance, just like when we do any of the menus, we're trying to find balance first, then we'll start strengthening and doing work from the inside out in order to hold and sustain that balance. So that's why we do it one leg first and then the other leg. And I hope you guys will give that a shot at home. I think you guys get the idea. One leg gets trapped in the static back, so use a chair, pull it around. I love using a door because if you can open up the door, you can use both door handles. So when you're doing your left leg, you can hang the left leg on the inside of the handle or the outside. And then when you're doing the right leg, you can hang it on there. I just use one of the straps. The difference between each height here is about 4 inches, 4 or 5 inches. So every 5 minutes, I lower my leg about 5 inches. I use the pencil to mark it on the wall. And it's not going to kill you if you do 3 inches or 2. Who cares? We're just trying to slowly get that muscle to relax. And that's not going to come from stretching it. You guys have heard me say before, when we stretch the muscles, when you go into a real deep stretch, you kind of feel it when your muscles and your fascia go, right? Anybody stretch like that and your body reacts and starts tightening and pulling back? That's not going to help bring a muscle back to its proper length. It's going to do the opposite. So we have to relax it into its proper length. And one more story that might help you understand how to get this exercise done is one guy spent 12 minutes in one level, 37 minutes in another level, 10 minutes in another level, because it took that long for the muscle to relax. How do you know? Your lower back should relax into the floor. So if you lower down your leg and you notice, whoa, my lower back popped up again, that's the tension in the muscle that we don't want. So we got to lay there until, oh, the lower back finally settled into the floor. So does everybody get that now? I told you everything that I can about this thing so that you can do this at home. You want to wait for that lower back to hit the floor. Of course, if you have a posterior tilt in your pelvis and you're tucked under, your lower back probably is on the floor already. So you're not going to be able to use that to help you figure out. So 5 minutes, even 10 minutes should be fine. It's still addressing that muscle. But there's another exercise I might give you to help get that lower back to come into a different position. But that's enough for now for the tower. Everybody good? Okay. We're done with the knee pillow squeezes. I'm going to take you guys into frog. We're going to do frog pullovers from here. We're still laying on the floor. Remember, if you can't do this, you can be doing it sitting in a chair. It's just going to look funky and maybe feel a little awkward, but it will still be somewhat effective because you're moving. So keep the soles of the feet together. Your heels coming towards your crotch. Elbows nice and straight. Drop backwards overhead, back and forth. Beautiful, everybody. I'm walking around because I'm catching some of you bending your elbows. Sorry if I smell like rubber. That's from my beautiful Halloween mask. Pause right there. Lock out your elbows. That's it. Now drop them back. When you specifically turn them in, you start to bend.
Oh, so
Right. Do that and see if you can. Big difference, right? Yeah. Yeah. Keep them locked. Lock them out. Good, Gloria. How you doing there, Barb? I'm good? You look all right. Do you remember when you first tried this move?
No.
Okay. So I'm seeming to think that your legs are looking more even and but I can't quite remember, so I'm trying to confirm with you. Was this harder when you first did it? Was it?
Yeah, actually, this part,
Mhm.
I'm able to reach a little bit more.
Yeah.
Except he's getting away.
Yes, and you're not the only one who has been of that shape in my, yes. She was a swimmer and whoosh, she was buxom. Fun girl too, real fun girl. We worked at the pole dance studio together. So, and she loved my classes and I loved her classes too. Great, everybody. We are going to do one of our workouts today and we are going to do planks. We haven't touched planks in the longest time and we're going to do planks. You don't have to do them on the floor. You can do them against the wall. They're really simple, just like our push-ups. But I'm going to go through how you can get the right is too strong of a word, but that's the only one I got. The right position for a plank. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you that progression. Okay, everybody, I'm going to flip you over to do some cats and dogs. You can either do cats and dogs, or you could do them sitting in the chair, or you could do shoulder rolls. Some of you still have shoulder issues, so loading your shoulder on hands and knees kind of hurts. So you could stand up and just do some shoulder rolls. That works too. But if you're okay doing cats and dogs, try to get that alignment, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, blah, blah, blah. A lot of us are stuck in the upper back. So I really want you to pay attention to getting the upper back to doing the work. And for people like you and one of the other girls out there who I work with, we have a similar posture. Our idea of getting deeper into the upper back is usually us compensating by folding our suitcase backs and doing it wrong, but still staying stuck up here. So for us, I really like to remind you, it's a reverse press. So even if your head isn't coming forward, which has a tendency to lock up the upper back, you can keep your head neutral and really try to get the shoulders to come back and down rather than overcompensating with your back. We want the shoulder blades to retract. Remember, we went through that whole thing last week with Linda, and we did what's retraction, protraction, posterior, anterior. You want your shoulders to go through that. Protraction, retraction, protraction, retraction. Same thing with you, Denise. We all three of us have a similar situation going on. We're really stuck in our upper back. There's protraction. You got good protraction. And there you got retraction, but it's just not all the way. That's all. Nice protraction. Right there, reverse press. It's not the most I've ever seen, but it's not the worst either. I've seen people so stuck, there's nothing. There's no movement out of there. Zero movement out of there. Great, everybody. All right. Denise hates this move. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. We're going to do static extension position. Now that we got the shoulders woken up and the pelvis, we're doing static extension position. It's similar to the cats and dogs, except we want to load the hip flexor. And in order to load it, we got to move it just a little bit forward. If you guys do that, put your hands and knees on the floor and then just shift your weight forward without moving your hands. Do you feel something turn on in your lower back and something turn on maybe in your crotch? Just shift your weight forward. And that's us accessing that hip flexor I talked about before. Remember, I pointed to my crotch and went through to the back. So as you move the body forward, that's going to turn on. We want to keep that. So you shifted forward just a few inches. Now put your hands back underneath your shoulders. And that's this move. That's the position for static extension. That's the setup. Now you drop your shoulder blades together here. That's it. For everybody who's got a posterior pelvis, you want to think about like sway back horse. You want to drop the spine. This is not a back and forth move. This is a holding move, and we hold it for 2 minutes. You're going to hang out there. Toes are on the floor for this one. So this is your toes trailing behind you, and the toenails are on the floor. You might get some cramps here. I've caught that a few times. Okay, she got the cramps. Yeah, caught that a few times. Once you go plantar flexion with the feet, because we're asking the hip to turn on and asking the feet to, or the ankles to go into that position, you might get cramps in the butt and the arches of the feet. This is our setup for our plank and for our push-up. The shoulder blades stay retracted. That's the setup. This move can also be done on the elbows. I've done this on elbows. In fact, I've done it on elbows, taken a modified golf grip, which all of you guys know, drop the shoulder blades together and add the doozy, rotate out so that my forearms are coming into this Y configuration. So it's coming from the shoulder. There's an outward rotation. And then the other added doozy is try to pull my knees into my chest. So as I push into the ground and pull my knees in, but don't move them, Barb. So it's a little different. Walk your legs back, Barbara. Walk your legs back, right to where they started, right there. When I say try to pull your knees into your chest, that means don't move your knees. You're just activating. So you want to pull your knees into your chest, and you'll notice your butt starts sliding backwards towards your heels. And you'll start to feel it right here if you're doing it right in your crotch or right in your secondary hip flexors, which is where your pockets are. So it's an activation to kind of pull in but it's not from the abs, it's from the hips. We've got 20 more. Well, that move gets done on your elbows. That's why. So once you get to the elbows and you pull back with the knees, we're in deep hip flexion and it starts turning on the hips. 7 more seconds. I am going to take you guys into plank from here, just into plank. Now, the key to get into plank is to keep what you just taught your shoulders. We cannot go into plank like that schmo who's got like the 5-hour-long plank in the Guinness Book of World Records. He looks like this. And his plank looks equally as atrocious. And that's how he holds his plank. Guaranteed, if we ask him to come into thoracic extension, he wouldn't be able to hold for 2 minutes. So he's in so much flexion everywhere. This is where his strength is and his compensation. So in the static extension position, we've got shoulder blades pinned together. When you step your legs back, I want you to think about tightening your thighs. But here's what always happens to everybody. Watch my shoulders. I trap them back, but as soon as I step back and add that force, whoop, I'll go here. Don't do it. So if you notice that happens, just put your knees back on the floor, reset, then. So this is a toughie. I'm going to try to hold for 30 seconds, a minute, see what you got. Linda, butt down, down, knees down on the floor. Set your shoulders, set them. I'm timing you guys. Shift forward, set. Hold that, elbows straight. Now, straighten your legs. Tuck your toes, get onto that plank, straighten your legs. Tuck your toes, get into your plank. Plank, plank. Off your knees, plank. Linda, just think for yourself. How do you plank? Plank, plank. Come on, get your knees up. Linda, like this. Here. When I say plank, that means here. Right here, plank, plank. She's staying on her knees. Suck it up, everybody. There you go. But notice what, guys, take a break for a second. I want you to watch Linda. Linda, you're my friend. Knees on the floor. Check it out. So exactly what I said was going to happen, it's happening. So watch. Drop in, elbows straight. Ready? Plank. See? Except she does it with her butt, right? Yeah. You can plank on your elbows. You can plank on your elbows. So for you, you're going to get back on your elbows so you don't whine about your wrist. So she's going to do it on her elbows. Come further forward, even if you don't go out. So we're going to try this again. Shoulders together. Hold that. Now step your legs back into plank.
I don't know.
Try it.
Yeah.
So walk your legs, drop your knees. You got to walk your legs way, way further back.
Long legs.
Look, she got long legs. So here, watch. I drop in, walk my knees back so that I'm almost there. We got to keep the butt down. Shoulders together, then plank.
Wow.
So you're like here, you're like downward dog. You're like down dog. It's tough. It's not easy. Good girl. That's it. Shoulders in though. Try to go. Good job. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. I saw everybody doing that kind of, gee, this is my normal plank. And then, okay, let me adjust. Did you feel that difference? Right? When you drop the shoulder blades together, it forces the hips to turn on. It forces your abs. You don't have to go and suck it in like all those idiot instructors tell you to do, right? Engage your core. You don't need to. The core is going to turn on its own when the power sources do their job. This is a transfer point of energy. It shouldn't be your source of it. This is just a transfer point. Our powerhouse is here. This is our powerhouse. This is what takes us forward. Remember, biggest muscle in our body by volume. Powerhouse ain't here. This is a transfer point to go, okay, powerhouse is going, arm, come along for the ride. This should not be tighten core, but that core will engage when you get the posture in alignment. It makes sense? Sorry, I'm beating the point down, but Denise is like, she's like, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Now we did regular old plank here. We're going to try for a side plank. Same idea, might be easier for some of you, might be harder. I do side plank Oh, I can do it. So same idea. We want to keep the shoulders pinned, but the kicker is you want to stay dorsiflexed in your ankles. That's going to be even harder when you do it on your back, because we are going to do plank on the back. Can't do it on your wrist today? Do it on your elbow. I've had so many people, even me, when my shoulder was all messed up. Okay. Okay. So go in and out of it. That's okay if you can't hold. We're going to hold up to a minute. But if you want to do for 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 30 seconds, go for it. I'm just going to set my timer for a minute. Same idea. So if you're setting up either on your elbow or on your hand, I want your legs to be nice and long, stacked in a nice long straight line. No, it hasn't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Nice long straight line. Try to dorsiflex your ankles so you're bringing your toes towards you. Keep them there. As you lift, your body's going to go, and cheat. Don't do it. Don't do it. Shoulder blades pinned and just, this hurts. And lift. Timer going. I don't care if you're on your hand. I don't care if you're on your elbow. I don't care if you're lifting and lowering or trying to lift and you're not going anywhere. Top arm eventually will be up in the air or on your hip or on somewhere. I will tell you, yes, I did help myself in the beginning. I did, but that's because I just came off of surgery. So if you're just weak, give it a shot. But if you're feeling bad pain, forget it. 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left. Shoulders are pinned together. Also want to try to stack. I've caught some of you guys doing this and your hand is so far away from your face, it's super, super hard. You want it right underneath your shoulder, right under your shoulder. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, done. Try the other side. The only reason why I'm giving you this without modification is because you girls are doing it. Otherwise, another way to do this is, I don't know, maybe leaning on the wall. But you know what? You guys are strong enough to at least be able to try on the floor. Even if you're not getting anything up, you're able to try. So go for it. We're going to do the other side. So you want to modify these, you can do them against the wall. Same thing. Set up, dorsiflex, shoulders pinned, go. Lift your hip. Lift it. Lift that hip. Lift. There you go. Hold. Stay in it. Hold. Good. Give you 3 seconds worth of break and do it again. 5, 4, breaks over. Breaks over. Get into it again. Elbow down. Shoulders pinned. Lift. Lift. Hold. 10, 9. This is for her, not for you. 8, 7, 6, 6, 6, 5, 5, 5. Come on, lift it up. You can do it. If you can smile, get back into it. You can do it. I only did it because I know you can. You got 10 seconds left, everybody. Don't waste it. Knees straight, dorsiflex ankles, shoulders back, lift. 5 seconds. You can do it. I only gave her that because I know she can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, done. Good. We got 3 versions of this plank. Everybody sweating like I am?
Yes.
Good. Can we? One more version of the plank. So when we do this, it's side, side, forward, and backward. Remember last week, we did kind of a hard workout, right? Did anybody walk home or get to their car and feel, I feel different in a good way? Was that just me? Yeah. Sometimes it takes really strong exercises to finally force the body to wake up, recruit the right muscles, and do its work. Like I said, I was doing earlier, every time I get up, I'm doing this now because it's all quad, none of this is on. So we did those side steps and that turned on my butt and I was able to get up and go, wow, this is easy. It's a hard move, yes, but it turns a lot on. So this one's the hardest on elbows, less hard on hands, but if you got a wrist problem, it's probably going to be easier to do it on your elbow. I don't care if you ever get your butt up off the floor. It doesn't matter. We're trying to activate. So again, another way to modify this is maybe sitting in a chair. Maybe sitting in a chair and trying to, okay, we're trying to get the hips into extension. That's it. Here, you have to dorsiflex your ankles. Good luck. Your legs are going to want to ask your ankles to plantar flex. Denise, check that out. Yes, good girl. Check that out. Dorsiflex ankles. Going to hold this one for a minute too. I don't care if you're on elbows, whatever, knees stay straight, and you lift. Give it a try. Hold for 5 seconds, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Ankles have to be dorsiflex because once they plantar flex, the knees will bend and we're almost turning it into a bridge. It's not what we want to do. 30 seconds left. We're almost halfway through. Dorsiflex those suckers. Good girl. It's not easy. You can use the chair like I told you. 20 seconds left. Get back into it. You got 20 seconds. You can give me 10 seconds worth of work. Good. She is. She likes to be the class clown though, so that's cute. Dorsiflex your ankles. Come on. Yeah, and keep it up. And she kept it up. Good. 9, 8 for everybody. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. What? Good girl. It is warm in here. One more exercise. So I'm taking you through the progression of static extension, planks, and push-ups so that you understand how to do a quote unquote proper push-up. The only reason why it's proper is because we're trying to reteach your shoulders to come out of here where most of ours are and pelvis where they're heading towards to come here and hold with a strong exercise. This exercise, believe it or not, when I do it, gives me a few more inches in my arm's ability to move because I'm pulling this back, turning these muscles on, and that's holding my shoulder in the right place, which is allowing this. We talked about that last week. Same idea. We're going to do this push-up out of the plank position. You can do this on the wall if you want to. This is hard when you're on the floor. Yes, you'll see me. I'm not even going to go all the way down to the floor because I'll never make it up again because my shoulders still ain't working right. So same idea. The shoulders stay back and down. Band-aid for that. Put the hands out wider. So if your elbows love to bend, put your hands out wider. I don't care, but they have to stay back and down. I don't care if your push-up is 2 inches, 1 inch, keep the shoulders back and down. We're trying to train the shoulders to stay back and down. You can do this on a wall. It's really no big deal. Walk your feet away from the wall, shoulders back and down, lean in, keep them shoulder height. I want to see 10. I don't care how deep you go. We're not doing it for a minute. We are doing it from plank if you can. Keep your shoulders pinned. Good. Look. Good. Good. Keep this pinned. Good. Back up. Move from your elbows only. Rest of the body stay still. Elbows only. Just 10. You're doing great, Lynn. Can't do this on elbows, obviously. So if you have to modify this, you could do it against the wall. Good. Everybody squeezed out 10. Little different than doing a push-up from here. Everybody feel that? When you force the shoulders to come back, you might not want to go as low because your body doesn't know how. You did great, everybody. Let's stand up. Just do some normal work. We went through what I wanted to go through today. Make sure you have a block nearby. We'll do some of that. We might have time for some strap stuff. All right. Let us do some windmill. So we're going to stand with the feet hip distance. Bring the arms out to the sides if you can. Remember, you got a shoulder problem. You might end up here. It's okay. Move only through your waist, not through the shoulders. Even the shoulders should not be finishing the move. Shoulders stay in place, moving only through the waist. Heels stay down. This is usually done against the wall if you've got one. But we're imagining that we're against the wall. Feet are hip distance. Terry, that's a bit wide. That's hip distance, but I see why you do that. I'm starting to head towards that direction because my knees are starting to go in. So my feet come out wider to compensate for the knees going in. Kim's got to work out a little more. Wider now, everybody. About 1.5 to 2 feet wide. Feet stay parallel, you know it. Good, I was just catching because I thought I saw a little bit of this. Don't wag your hips back and forth, they stay in place. Only movement is right from here. Barb, doing great. Try not to move from the shoulders. So if it's getting a little tiring, it's not quite a stretch as it is an activation. You want to lean your body over as much as you can and force that hip to remember how to load. And your feet, turn them parallel. Guys, switch to the widest position you got. You stay there, Barb. Doing fantastic. Go ahead and lean over back and forth again. So what I'm doing is I'm stopping her from cheating. Feel the difference? Yeah. So you were kind of doing this. Whoop, whoop. Right. None of that. That's your body's way of just avoiding load. So now bring the legs out even wider. There's no way your body is going to be able to shift now because the legs are out in such an abducted and almost outwardly rotated fashion. We can't shift back and forth. So this is sometimes the hardest position to do windmill in because we're really trapping it. Barb, again, turn down, look down at your feet. You might be facing this way. That's okay. Just make sure that they're parallel. Same thing with you, Lynn. Clean it up. Clean it up again. Look at your feet. They're like here. Last position is our first position, ladies and gentlemen. Good. Having fun today. Wonder if the library could turn up the heat. I mean, it's kind of cold in here. There's a little bit of this going on. LaGuardia planes are going to land here. We don't want to. Great, everybody. Stop the presses. Grab your block. Let's do some seated work. Grab your block for seated work. I'm going to grab a pink one or something that's a different color here. Okay. I am going to get back down on the floor. If you guys can remind me, I wanted to do lying leg lifts. It's called inner outer thighs, but lying leg lift sounds scarier. So that's why I said it Halloween. I'm keeping the block right between my knees. Why am I doing that? Knees level with your hips. Why am I putting the block in between my knees whenever I do exercises, whatever they are? We're going to be doing heel raises. It does keep it in line. It does. If I didn't have the block, what would my legs be able to do that they're not going to be able to do as well if I have a block there? Move together. Exactly. So I'm going after more even recruitment. So this is a bilateral move. Excellent, Terry. I want you guys to sit in extension if you can, pelvic extension. So you're going to roll a little arch into your lower back, lift and lower with the heels. Yes, you are using your calves. But as you guys have heard me say in the past, we want this to be done by the hip. So we're going to just use a little bit of cue to force this to go into the hips. So be light on your toes as if you're picking up the knees with strings. So we're going after this movement, except I'm just allowing you to keep your feet on the floor as a bit of a Band-Aid. We're really going after this movement, which is hip flexion. Pull, pull. And that should be coming from your hip. But I'm going to leave you with your feet on the floor. So try and think like that. Be light on your toes so the hips are getting involved rather than a whole lot of calf. Got it? Bring your feet closer to me, Denise. Now take a look down. Your feet are kind of doing this just a little bit. So bring them in just a bit. There you go. Try it from there. Linda, walk your feet in closer to each other. Just a bit. Again, 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 closer to each other. Again. Again, get your feet closer to each. How else can I say? Bring your feet narrower. Yes, good, right there. For you, Miss Gloria, walk your feet a little further apart from each other. Yeah, good, right there. Try to sit in extension, my dear. Yeah, let that come from the hips. Remember, when you cheat sitting in extension, you're gonna start feeling it in your back. If you start noticing that, wow, then you're probably doing this. So I do that sometimes, so just reset, roll it from the crotch area. That's that psoas we're going after. So you roll it from there and then continue. There's a tendency to want to do so much work and do it well that we kind of do 100%. We'll roll it and then finish it out, right? So you kind of hit the point where your pelvis stops and then you're like, I should be doing more. So you finish it with this. Don't do that. Once the pelvis stops, that's it. That's all the extension you're getting. So just leave it there. So at least the right muscles are doing it rather than adding compensation. Good. Come out of that. We're going to do short foot. Short foot. Looks like this. I'm hip distance. I'm going to step 1 foot forward. Keep a little bend in the knees. This works through the toes. I keep the ball of the foot on the floor. So this one's a weirdo. Ball of the foot stays on the floor. My toes are coming up and crunching down, up and crunching down. About 20 times, and then we'll switch up and crunching down, but keep the ball of the foot on the floor. That's the kicker. Up, crunch down, up, crunch down. The front foot's doing the work. Good luck with sneakers. You might notice that one foot is going to work a little different than the other. Like on my left foot, my toes just kind of go up like flaps instead of like that. Is that about 20? Okay, we're going to flip it around and do the other side. So I'm not taking a really deep stance. It's almost just like taking a step, but I'm staying hip distance, knees slightly bent, up, crunch down. I find if I do this on the carpet, I have the ability to crunch my toes. So a flat floor is probably not going to give you as much movement if your toes are weak in this regard. And weak is it's a little bit of a strong word. It might not mean weak that, hey, the muscles are weak, but it could also mean that neurologically it can't pattern it just yet. And I helped my right foot do it by actually bending my toe and putting it there and holding it there in that bent fashion. And then after a while, it did get it. I was able to do it. So there we go. Okay, so my left still having problems, but working on it. I'm going to switch again. Short foot, we're just going back and forth. Back and forth. How many of you guys are going to take this tower idea home with you and give yourself a shot doing it?
I should take a photo of it. My husband could build it.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
There's been plenty of people who've built that silly thing.
Stuff on.
Yep, that's me. Don't do it me. Don't do it me. We're going to switch again. I'm guessing my 20s here. How many of you are starting to feel any of this in your lower back or turning on in the hip at any? Nothing? When you do this step, try not to twist your pelvis. You want to keep the pelvis squarely forward. Squarely forward. So think about staying in that frontal plane. Frontal plane, everything's still facing forward. We're going to switch one more time. See, for this one, when I do it, I start feeling it right where my psoas originates and starts coming into. I feel it on my left side because I know that left side needs that work. And every time I do this, I feel it back there. So we're doing our last round on our right foot. We're going to switch and do our last round on our left foot. You guys keep going. I'm going to get you some straps because I changed my mind. I'm going to step your left leg forward, and we do have time to do this routine that I want to continue with. So I'm going to get you guys all straps. I know for some of you, I have to set the strap up. You're my special people. Very special. You got it. So we're going to use straps for one of our next move. This one is not set up. You have one. Fantastic. Of course, this one isn't set up. Man, I got to stop undoing these. We are going to get ourselves onto the floor to do the calf and hamstring stretch. Use your strap. So if you guys already know calf and hamstring, you're
Thanks,
Denise,
Kim.
you're welcome. You're welcome. You got a strap. Okay, cool, cool, cool. You got one? Good. Okay, Denise, does anybody else need a strap? Did I lose anything? You may need a longer one. So if you do, I'll give you this. You might need, wow, this one's stupid long. That one is, I hate that one. I'm sorry I bought that one. I'm so sorry. So I'm putting a loop in this strap. You might need it. You might not. I'll show you how I use it. I keep the strap unlooped when I do this, but you guys might need it. You're very welcome. So the calf and hamstring stretch, I'm going to use this lame-o one. I hate this one. Calf and hamstring stretch looks like this. One leg stays in the hook lying position. And the other leg, thighs stay parallel. So the leg starts out here, thighs are parallel. So you could see why I might keep it unlooped and hang on to both sides. But some of you have a really long leg or a different shape. You might have to loop it and just tighten it up. It's just going to go around the ball of your foot. So however you got to do it, and we're going to hold 1 minute in each position. If this move stinks for you and it's really, really hard, you can switch when I say it's time to change positions. Remember, the other leg is in bed fashion. So we're going to hold for 1 minute here. What I want you guys to think of is 80% of the work is done by your hips. So don't you hold onto the strap and hold the leg there. You should be able to keep the knees straight, ankle dorsiflexed, and the strap is just kind of there to stop it from going left to right and to hold the dorsiflexion in the ankle. My thigh is tight. I'm like pushing my heel away. We want a lot of this work to be done from the hip that we just did all that work on. When we switch, I'm going to stay on the same leg because I'm strong enough to do so. If you're not strong enough and you need a break, just do this same thing on the other side. But when I do the switch, I'm going to put the strap to the middle of my foot, and we're going to come into the hamstring stretch, which means I pick the leg up higher in 12 seconds. You guys should feel some of this work within a minute moving into your hip to some degree. If it's not, your knee is probably bent. Good, moving on, second exercise. If it's too much for you, just do that same thing on the other side. Knee is straight. I'm using my hip to get my footprint to the ceiling. Another minute. I'm using the strap a little bit to hold a little tension, but I am not doing all the tension pulling. This is not a stretch, even though it's called stretch. This is more work. See, I'm able to hold my leg there and hands off. Strap is not there to do all the work. Your hip must be doing this work. 30 more seconds. I don't care if you do 10 seconds. I don't care if you do 5 seconds. The opposite leg is not laying on the floor. Not like it's going to be terrible for you, but there's a reason for this. And here's the other kicker. I catch some people pushing their opposing foot into the floor to try and get this lift. Don't you dare do that. Keep this leg relaxed on the floor. This work should be done in the straight legs hip. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're switching. I'm hearing it. Did everybody feel some of that somewhere? Okay, good, good. So she's got it right at the, good. It's moving into the hip. So I'm moving on to my second leg. Thighs are parallel. One leg is in the hook lying position. I've got the strap around the ball of my foot. Here we go. Strap around the ball of my foot. Just a reminder to everybody watching or whatever, sign up for the next round of classes. It does fill up. And if you enjoy this kind of torture, then you find a benefit from this torture, you got to sign up quick or else somebody's going to take your spot. And then guaranteed 2 weeks into the class, those people are not going to come back, but they're not going to give you that spot back either. Not everybody really cares. Not everybody cares enough to go, oh, I'm not going to come back. They do that wishful thinking, go, yeah, I may. But you know what? You're not going to do it unless you do it. You get your butt here. And if you haven't, please give the class up so that some other people who are waiting can get in. Because we want to teach them that they'll never continue too. Okay, switch. So we're coming in. I didn't mean switch. We're still on the same leg. We're just switching the exercise. So it's to the ball of the foot, hamstring. Dorsiflex your ankle. If you think about the cue of pushing your heel away from you into the ceiling, it'll force you to tighten up your thigh. You notice that. The thigh will tighten, the knee will straighten, and the ankle will automatically dorsiflex. And then, oh, there's my hip. Ah, right? Yeah. 30 seconds left. Is somebody crying? Good. You know you're doing it right. Right? Does anybody else feel a discrepancy between one side and the other? We're all off balance. We're all a little, we're all messed up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, done. We're still gonna lay on the side. We haven't done this in a while. If some of you haven't done it at all, I want you to think like Jane Fonda. I don't care if you prop up on your elbow or if you lay down completely. We're gonna work on the top leg. You can bend the bottom leg if you need because you feel like you're gonna tip over, but ankle is dorsiflex, thigh is tight, lift and lower. Foot must stay parallel to the floor. I cannot force you to do that. You got to look at your foot and check it out. In fact, it's not even a bad idea to start lifting almost with your heel before your toes go up. Tendency is to cheat here and to kind of like roll back or outwardly rotate. Don't do it. Now you can either put the knee on top of a block for the bottom leg, or you can do that really awkward thing. So you could do this and work on the bottom leg, or you can go really awkward and place the foot on the floor and still work on the bottom leg. Same idea, lift and lower over and over. We usually do this in sets of 20, but today we're kind of doing it in sets of 10 because I'm starting to get pressed for time. Going back to my top leg. Dorsiflex the ankle. Yep. Push the heel away. I'm catching a couple of you, just a couple. I'm seeing outward rotation, so I'm watching toes go up. Don't you dare. I'm going to throw something at you. Foot down, bottom leg, work it. Dorsiflex that ankle. If I catch that, I used to have those squishy dolls and I throw it at people. I brought them here just for that. Dorsiflex the ankle. Missed it. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Especially laying on this hard floor. Yeah. Our hips are killing, right? Flip over. Got them bony hips too. This ain't comfortable. So you can either prop up, lay down, put your head on a pillow. I don't care, but look down your body. Make sure that foot is parallel to the floor. You could do this standing. Linda, dorsiflex, ankle. Dorsiflex. If you're gonna, yeah, you're already laying here. You're already leaning into your hip. Might as well do it right. Inner thigh, bottom leg. Denise is all over it. Good. Inner thigh, bottom leg. Good job. I catch a lot of people with their foot doing this supinating thing because the hip isn't working or you're not getting enough height. It's okay. It's not going to kill you, but I'd like you to keep your foot still. We want this work to come from the hip. I think I'm going to finish us off with a squat today. Back to the top leg. We got to end with some sort of bilateral movement. Yeah, try to roll towards me. Stack. That's it, Barb. Feel the difference? Right. No margaritas today. Tendency is for the body to kind of just start falling back. And before you know it, you're just doing like this funky leg lift. Bottom leg. Last round. Beautiful. Same idea. You're pushing through the heel, dorsiflex the ankle. You're quite a supinator over there. Quite a supinator. Anybody got cramps? No? Good. Stand up, squat. We're finishing with a free squat, and then I'm going to let you guys go. I don't want to see you coming back to my class ever again. Don't sign up. Don't ever. Free squat. You don't have to put your arms in front of you, but I do. We're going to hold for 5 breaths. Sit in the chair that isn't there. I'm trying to keep that pelvic extension just like we did when we were sitting in the chair. So we don't want to tuck under. This is not like a chair pose in yoga. This is not our Utkatasana. So don't do that bandha locking stuff. This is a different style. 5 breaths. My shoulder blades are pinched back. We're trying to keep that S curve in the spine with shoulder blades pinched back. That's all. Tendency for some of you is to do this or do this. If that's happening to you, put a block between your knees. You certainly can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're done. Wow. She's applauding for you guys. You did hardcore work. Thanks, everybody. Oh, thanks. All right, we're done. And we'll see you next time if you sign up. Remember, you got to get on the library's website. If you want to sign up in person, but you might get on the waiting list. So do it quick. See you next time. Bye. Thanks.